Hello, everybody. It's very good to be with you as usual. And today we're going to go into number 27 or verse 27 of the Enlightenment Chronicles. And this is typical of this verse here is typical of the backwards teaching because it takes something commonplace and inverts it, if you will, because that's the way we can, it's seeing what's not, which is helpful to coming to see what is. So the verse is simply, there's much less here than meets the eye. I mean, how many times have you heard there's much more here than meets the eye? And here I am declaring there's much less here than meets the eye. And there's all sorts of things I could be referencing in the largest picture, I guess. It could be a declaration that while you think that you are in duality and looking for non-duality, the truth is just the same, just the opposite. You're already in non-duality. You can't not be in non-duality. There is nothing other than non-duality. But you, non-duality itself, the non-dual, the only, the one, you are seeking a relative experience of awakening. And what, isn't that just a little bit backwards? We're all I mean, I remember when I was doing it, so I'm not making fun of you at all. No, sir. I remember when I did it, and I didn't do it, but for years and years. And what I kept waiting for was the grand relative experience. Then in 1992, when I woke up the first time, there was a dramatic experience, but it was such a dramatic experience, and that it just knocked me out, in the sense that ego just immediately took over and grabbed that awakening and made it its own, so that ego could then declare, I woke up. Well, there's no I that wakes up unless it is the I of I am awakeness, right? I am awakeness itself. And this is it. I am awakeness itself, and this is me, and this is you. But there's much less here than meets the eye, because it looks like, in our minds, we've got that there's a Fred here, and that there's an ocean, and that there's a Russia, and that there's, Japan, and that there's multiple layers of the atmosphere, and that we can go microscopically and break down everything in that way, and we can do it astronomically and go in the other direction. And man, it's just truth, truth, truth everywhere you look. That's not true. It's apparent truth everywhere you look. It's convincing truth everywhere you look, but it's not truth. It's just convincing illusion. Illusions wouldn't be regarded as being so tricky if they didn't work. They work very well. I have been, I'm sure you have, well, I can't be sure, but yeah, I have been in the desert on any number of occasions and seen a lake or seen mountains. But if I started out to see those mountains and lakes, I would never get any closer. And they might ultimately fade once light did, or once I got to some sort of interior, some sort of experience where that illusion no longer took place. But there is no Fred. That's an illusion. If you think you're somebody, that's an illusion too. Yeah, sure is. I have a beautiful wife that I love to death. Her name is Betsy. And the whole thing is illusory. I love it anyway. It doesn't matter. I don't care that it's an illusion. I don't go around when I'm telling Betsy, "Oh, you're just illusion." I'm you going around thanking her for everything that she does for me, which is beyond imagination. I mean, you can imagine. I mean, as uh, as screwed up as this body is, right? As disabled as this body is, it keeps her hopping. And if she would like to think that this is illusional, just because she could maybe take some sort of a rest in the illusion, but that's not the way it's working. The way it's working is there is a unit here, and there is the appearance of a unit here. That's a better way to put it. There's the appearance of a unit here, and we are all caught in the movie of these units. And poor Betsy's got herself a bad unit, and it makes her work twice as hard as she really, how do I say should? I mean, it's what is, but it certainly feels like it's harder than she should work to me, and I'm sure it does to her as well. But it's not true. So if we go around believing that she shouldn't be doing what she's doing, we're going to end up in misery and nothing will change. We just accept the fact that we go to misery. Instead, we have a lot of joy here. There's a lot of pain here too. That's okay. It's part of it. We can't take reality and slice off the part we want. When I say reality, I'm going to say apparent reality. We can't take this and slice off the parts that we don't like. We have to take it's all or nothing, and it is all. The nothing doesn't even know itself. You don't know yourself prior to consciousness. Can't say you're not there, just tell you that you don't know yourself prior to consciousness. The advent of consciousness is the advent of you coming to experience yourself. And when you do it through one of these, it will seem to be that you're experiencing something over there from something over here, the birth of apparent duality. But there's much less here than meets the eye. There's no birth of duality because there just isn't any duality. There is apparent duality, there is experienced duality, there's the science of duality and all of this, but there is no duality. I promise you. There's non-duality and only non-duality. And remember when we talked about there just being one thing going around? Well, that could be better termed to say that there's not two. Advaita, the definition of Advaita, there's not two. So there's not two. There's no duality for not two. There's only it. There's only the not two. So there's much less here than meets the eyes. There's actually much less here than we believe we experience, that we appear to experience. You're all caught up in this, aren't you? Now you want us to. We're all caught up in our world and we can't rip our vision off of the world and our attention off of the world and put it on what is experiencing this world. What is it that's experiencing this world? I don't know what it is, but I can tell you that apparently it is. uh, I don't really know anything. Thank God. I used to know a lot, and I was very, very miserable when I knew a lot. Now I don't know squat. Betsy and I live like spies. We learn everything on a need to know basis, and we don't have great plans because we have built all the sandcastles that we want on the beach. We've seen too many tides come in. So we just try to be open to whatever happens right now. And we're not worried about what isn't happening right now, because if it isn't happening right now, it isn't happening. So why would we want to put our attention on what isn't happening? but it's the default position of human beings. The default position of human beings is to put all of their attention on what isn't actually happening, which is duality, manifestation. So it's a puzzle, but you don't have to suffer from it. But if you don't inquire into your thoughts, you will believe them and you will suffer from it, regardless of whether you want to or not. Thank you. See you later. Good luck. I love you. Bye-bye.